we as economists understand opportunity costs and we can kind of lay them all out, but is there like a back of the envelope calculation? Is there like a number that people can use if they want to call their member of Congress and talk to them about the policy response? Somebody else asked about, how we can do that. But what is there some sort of number that people could use? How would you empower folks with that? Or do you have an answer?
So I would call up your member of Congress and just say 30% unemployment. What are you going to do? Like, I don't think next month when the numbers come out, we're going to have 30%. I think we're going to be close to 25%. And like, that's this month, like what we are living right now. I do think that it's entirely possible this summer that we'll have 30%. If members of Congress do not do something when we are hitting 30% or we're getting anywhere near it, it is an absolute dereliction of duty. Like, I don't care who you voted for, nobody voted for this, right? Like, so, and I have like lots of words to say about the deficit, but I do think I try to be very open-minded and I try and listen to as many people. And to your point about like, okay, what are the tools you give someone to have a conversation to say, I disagree with you, but I want to like ground it in something other than I'm yelling in your face, which I might do sometimes. But like, the Congress, they are elected officials. They are stewards of our economy. At the end of the day, it's the U.S. taxpayers that are on the line for the treasuries, the lending that the federal government does. I mean, the treasury is the piggy bank, but it's kind of all of our piggy banks, right? And not just now, but like for generations, right? So there is a big discussion about if we hand off to our children and our children's children a huge price tag that they are like crushed by debt, the federal government has to spend billions and billions of dollars servicing that debt, like paying it back and just paying the interest back. This is bad, right? And this is the thing that gets talked about and is being talked about right now by some members of Congress. The thing is that conversation, and Chairman Powell said this today too, that conversation we should have in the best of times. Like, we should have been having it like 3 or 4 years ago. We had a different conversation, but like, it is what it is. So when the economy is really strong, when employment is very high, then that's when we can save up. We can pay back some of that debt. In a recession, just like, we don't expect families right now to be paying their mortgages down. Like, this is ridiculous. So the idea that Congress should be doing that right now, paying off the debt or not taking on debt. I mean, small businesses, we are asking small businesses to go out and take loans so that they get through to the other side of it. Well, come on, Congress. Like, Congress is the only entity in the country that doesn't have to balance its budget, like, month by month, year by year. So like now in a recession, this is when you spend. And I've heard members of Congress say a couple of things. One, let's wait and see what happens. And I'm like, oh, sir, I don't think that's a good idea. And this, again, when they see 30%, I feel like something has to give. And then I also saw someone talking about, well, how are we going to pay for this? And I'm like, well, it's called deficit spending. Like, and to me, it's like, if you don't do this, if you don't help when we have 1 in 5, 1 in 3 in 10 American workers out of work, if you don't help them, you have a big problem on your hands. And then we will pay for it, because the absolute best way to pay down our debt is not to raise taxes. Nobody wants to pay more in taxes. Some people should pay more in taxes, but like, when the economy gets better, like the tax revenue comes in and then you pay it off.